Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has announced cash assistance for workers and discounted electricity charges for consumers and sectors affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. As to whether the nation would go into lockdown, he says government measures to contain the spread of the virus will be made known later tonight. Malaysia reported another 125 new positive cases today, bringing the cumulative total to 553. 95 of the new cases are linked to the gathering at the Sri Petaling Mosque. Muhyiddin says the PN government has revised the economic stimulus package announced by PH previously to include, among others, 600 ringgit in cash aid per month for employees forced to take unpaid leave from March 1st. This cash assistance will continue for 6 months. The new government also tacked on a 2% discount on electricity charges for commercial, industrial, agriculture and domestic consumers starting April 1st until September 30th. Muhyiddin was speaking after attending the inaugural meeting of the Economic Action Council, comprising government officials and prominent private sector figures, including the Edge Media Group Chairman Datuk Tong Hui Ong, Celcom Axiata Group Chairman Tan Sri Jamaluddin Ibrahim, Westports Malaysia Chairman Tan Sri G. Nanalingam and Sunway Chairman Tan Sri Jeffrey Chia. Malaysia Airlines warns that the loss-making national carrier, just like many other global airlines, is at risk of going bankrupt as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to spread. Malaysia Aviation Group CFO Bu Hui said in an internal email to Malaysia Airlines' 13,000 employees today that the rapid deterioration of the situation over the weekend, forcing stricter travel restrictions by governments around the world, spelled greater challenges in its operations. She said with plummeting demand and mass cancellations in flight bookings, the carrier, like many others, is now in a critical situation and could go out of business, adding that more hard decisions will have to be taken soon. In a report today, the Centre for Asia-Pacific Aviation estimated that by the end of May, most airlines in the world would have been driven into technical bankruptcy, or at least be substantially in breach of debt covenants if there is no coordinated government and industry action. Hypermarkets and grocery stores in the Klang Valley saw record sales as people stocked up over the weekend after the WHO declared the outbreak a pandemic on Wednesday. On Sunday, photos of empty shelves at Village Grocer and Tesco stores began to go viral, and the food purveyor which operates Village Grocer, Ben's Independent Grocer and Pasaraya OTK confirmed the situation to The Edge. Group Executive Director Ivan Tan said there appears to be panic buying, with record sales every day in every store under the group. He said suppliers were also caught by surprise and that the group is unable to cope with the sudden surge in demand. Among the items that have been flying off the shelves include toilet paper, canned food, instant noodles and frozen food. Tesco, however, gave its assurance that it has sufficient stocks and continues to replenish essential products in its stores. It said it is working hard with its suppliers to maintain the supply of all key products, such as food, water, toilet paper and soap. MIdeas Research says foreign investors continue to cut their exposure in the Malaysian market for a fourth straight week, taking out 1.91 billion ringgit worth of equities last week. This compares with the outflow of 1.19 billion ringgit the prior week. According to MIdeas Research's analyst Adam M. Rahim, this brings Malaysia's year-to-date foreign net outflow to 5.21 billion ringgit. Still, in comparison with its other 6 Asian peers, Malaysia has the second lowest foreign net outflow on a year-to-date basis. Adam said last week started with Monday's sell-off, which was triggered by the oil price war between Russia and Saudi Arabia. Tuesday saw some bargain hunting activity, but foreign selling returned and gained momentum the next day. On Thursday, foreign funds fled after the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus a global pandemic. Finally, Friday the 13th brought wild swings for Bursa as the local stock barometer faced its worst day since 2008. In terms of participation, Adam said the average daily traded value of foreign investors saw the smallest gain of 13.1% for the week and remained at a healthy level of 1.72 billion ringgit. Huang Capital Research has revised downwards Malaysia's 2020 GDP growth target to 3.3% from 4% previously. In a note today, Huang said real GDP growth should slow from 4.0% in the second half of 2019 to 2.8% in the first half of 2020, before recovering gradually to 3.7% in the remaining 6 months. The research house points out that the domestic economy is already affected by slower exports and manufacturing sector output, and the plunge in global oil prices will weigh on GDP growth further. Meanwhile, the prolonged COVID-19 outbreak could translate into a loss in tourist receipts of about 30 billion ringgit, resulting in a direct 0.5 percentage point cut in GDP growth. With the expected shortfall in government revenue, Huang says the country's budget deficit target will likely increase to 3.8% of GDP for this year. It expects the Economic Action Council to address this by recommending the recalibration of the Budget 2020 proposals. Meanwhile, it expects Bank Negara to cut the key interest rate by another 25 basis points to 2.25%. It is maintaining its year-end target for the ringgit at 4.20 against the US dollar.